Hey guys, welcome back to Lakeview Car Channel. It's Liam again. Today we're gonna dive into more stuff on the 300ZX. Last time we found those sliced fuel lines, and we just so happen to have a bulk reel of fuel hose over there on the workbench. So we are going to go ahead and replace all the fuel lines on this thing just so we know they're all good to go. We're gonna go ahead and use some ethanol safe line. That way if in the future I wanna maybe use some ethanol, we don't even have to worry about it. So let's go ahead and dive into that. And I also got lots of parts. So if we have any free time, we might end up putting some of these cool new parts on. So let's get into it. So lovely viewers, hard to see, but this right here is my fuel tank, and it goes up over the drive shaft. This car, my 240, and then R33s and R34s all had tanks like this where they're above the subframe. So unfortunately, to get at it, we have to lower the subframe a little bit, but we're not going to take the whole thing out because I don't think we have to. We just need to lower the tank enough so that from the top I can reach in and replace a couple fuel lines, because they're actually hard lines that run down under this cover, and there's some more rubber lines to connect to those hard lines, and that goes up, and then there's just a few more rubber lines, and that's it. So we are going to, what are we going to do first? I think we're going to loosen the tank first, and then we're going to put a jack under here and loosen these subframe bolts and see if we can get the whole thing to just come down just a little bit so I can get my hand in there up top. So let's get at that. Back underneath. Alright, so we just got the fuel tank strap bolts loosened up. They're pretty long, so we got them, there's probably like 2 or 3 threads on each bolt. That way the tank will be able to come down a little bit so we can fish our hands up underneath the car and fix those fuel lines. And right now I've just oiled the subframe bolts. Where'd they go? Oh, here's one. There's 4 of them. So we're letting those soak for a bit. I'm gonna go grab a socket in my impact. We're gonna put a jack right under the center of this, and we're going to go ahead and loosen those subframe bolts and then slightly lower all this. It looks like there's plenty of clearance around the exhaust and whatnot, so we should have plenty of room to just let all the subframe come down a bit. I should be able to reach in top, fix those fuel lines, and then put everything back together, and we should be good. So let's get at it. Oh, well, that's not ideal, is it? Okay, well. Try the other one. This one's got a bent control arm. Maybe we can squeeze in. Nope, need an extension for that one. And right now, guys, I'm not trying to take these out. I'm just trying to back these off with the impact because it'll be way easier than using a wrench or something. So we're just gonna back these off like maybe a half turn just so we know they move, and then we'll come back in, get the jack, set up the get some wrenches on them and spin them out. Oh yeah, that's a good sound. Throw the jack under here and we will start lowering this down. Here goes Nick putting in the work. Put in some work there. There you go. All right, we're just gonna take these 4 subframe bolts out, guys, and then we will lower this thing down, and hopefully we'll be able to get in there and fix my fuel lines up. We'll keep you updated. All right, so we got all the subframe bolts out, and we got those little bracket plates out of the way. So we're gonna go ahead and try and drop this down so I can replace those fuel lines. All right, I'm gonna see if that's enough. So the tank didn't drop down on its own, so I'm gonna probably try and get under there. Maybe I'll try and wedge something in here and push the tank down a bit. But that's the next thing, so we can actually get to these fuel lines. That was the whole point, so. This should not be this difficult. All right, so we finally got this one line off. I think this is the return. This is how split it was when I got the car. This thing was split all the way down the actual fitting. Somebody has sliced it to get it off, and they just threw it back on and clamped it up. So that definitely could have caused a leak, and right below this is the exhaust, so that definitely could have caused a fire. So I'm gonna move on to the other ones. Could be a lot harder because the clamp is facing away from me. So yeah, we're gonna get at this and we'll let you know. All right, guys, so this one actually, we got lucky and it's got a screw clamp on it like it's supposed to. So this one is gonna be super cake. I'm reaching in there a little further, Nick. There, you can kind of see it. Well, maybe. Point it. Here, you can't, I guess, well, our camera doesn't really fit in there, so. But we'll show you when we get it out. This one will be way easier to take off. And we're gonna put screw clamps back on there because they're 10 times easier to get back off in the event we need to do this again. Hopefully not, but you know, plan for the worst. All right, boys and germs. So this was the feed line. This was just, it was just on the car like this when I got it. So that's pretty scary. I just cut this side to get it off, but this is what happens when you pry a line off and you don't replace it like you should. So now that we got those off, we're gonna go ahead and get some new lines in there, and we will clamp them back up with some screw clamps like I said, and we will button this back up, and hopefully we can start it, maybe take it for a short drive. Yeah, something like that. We have guns.
You don't want to mess with it.
I was doing hard work all day.
Thank God.
Shut up.
I didn't see you pull an engine out today.
Okay, and? All right, guys, so we went ahead and got our new fuel lines put on there. They're looking great. We made sure they're not kinked in there because it is kind of a sharp bend. And we got 2 screw clamps on there, tightened them down. Plugged everything in for now. Obviously the plate isn't here, but we're gonna, I actually got a new harness for the battery up front. So a new battery harness, we're gonna install that real quick. It's just a few bolts. And then maybe install the shifter. And then we're gonna see if this, well, sorry. Let me get this straight. Let's stay on topic. We're gonna install the battery harness, put my new battery in there. Then we're gonna prime it and see if this leaks. That's the big one. If it doesn't, we're gonna start it and make sure it still runs. If that happens, then we're gonna probably do the shifter and then maybe a test drive. We'll see. Okay, cool. So guys, I'm just making sure. So guys, as you can tell, there is plenty of movement here. This is not a stock like bracket or anything, and it shouldn't move up and down like this. That's like the worst part. Basically, once I peel this back, well, I'll take this out first and we will show you. Oh, it's finger tight, that's great. Pull this boot off real quick. All right guys, so you can see without that bracket, this thing will, that's hitting my drive shaft. So, yeah. So basically, this thing is currently pretty borked, pretty broken. So there's usually a rubber bridge right here that this bolts to. Usually a rubber bridge across here, and this will hold it up, and you get, you know, pretty decent shifter. But we're changing all that because I got a whole new bracket kit, everything for this. So we are going to dig into that. It replaces this plate, replaces the mount on the trans and everything.
How much bad news can you handle tonight?
What?
I think I am able to diagnose your oil leak.
Oh, is it a rear main?
Yep.
I mean, there's worse things in this world.
This is true.
That's really not too terrible, to be honest.
What are we up to, Liam?
All right, guys, so this is the old shifter bushing that's on here. I got a whole new one to put on. I also got some new dust boots to pop in here. And you're supposed to fill this thing with grease once you're done. This old one really isn't that bad, and I'm having a hard time getting the new one on, so I might just pop the old one on. It's much more pliable. So we will let you know. I'm gonna rebuild this real quick, and then we're gonna bolt it on with a new bracket, and probably throw the battery in and try to start it up. All right, guys, so we went ahead and got the old stuff out. You'll notice here that this was the old bracket, and clearly that rubber bridge I was talking about is just completely gone, and it's long gone, I'm sure. So this bolts to the trans tunnel, and then this part is what actually mounts the shifter itself, and this stud would have gone through that rubber bridge with a metal tube or something, and a nut goes on top. On top of that, these bushings in the end were completely shot. These are terrible. So a lot of that bad shifter feel definitely coming from this setup right here. So we got this new setup from, who's it from again? Let's see if we can read that. zspeedperformance.com. So this cover plate completely replaces that. Obviously it has an included boot, so that's nice. And then this solid shifter bracket, it's a nice 3/8 steel, bolts directly to the trans, and then our shifter bolts directly through here. So that bolted there, along with this, gives us a new shifter setup, and I just rebuilt the new shifter. I'll run through that real quick. So we're gonna bolt this all back in. Bootsy's underneath to help me out. You get this bolted in and probably try and fire her up and go from there.
Yes.
So guys, while Bucci is messing with that real quick.
Why am I doing all the hard stuff today?
I mean, I can get under there if you want.
No.
Okay. Anyway. Okay. Here you go, little boy. So anyhow, these don't look much different now because I covered the new one in grease like you're supposed to. But that's new, trust me. Got a new dust boot up in the top of this thing. Got a new dust boot that goes on the bottom. And so this all gets sandwiched like that against the bracket. Yes, yes. Here you go. That's the last one. And this will bolt down to our bracket that's sitting right there. And then I have, where did I put them? Here we go.
I'm sorry.
You're good. This sleeve goes in the bottom of the shifter. Here, I'll show you guys. So this sleeve goes in like that. Obviously, that's very loose. So we got to pop these bad boys in there, just like that. Oh, wow, those are tight, actually. So one on each side. Not only does it hold the sleeve captive, but it also takes up any kind of play that this is going to have between this and that that bracket that's in, or that little U shape, this shifter rod right here. Kind of hard to see, but yeah. So this will slip down in there. We'll turn it. We will bolt it down, and then we're going to leave everything loose on that bracket to start with because the holes are slightly elongated. So we're going to get it into a good spot, and then we'll cinch them all down, tighten them up, and then we'll probably go ahead and try and start the vehicle. I said Bucci down there getting lost in the sauce. This will just sit down like that. We'll bolt it down and bolt it into that bracket, and this will pretty much be done other than this top cover plate. Here's the bolt. Cool. All right, guys, so this is the last part we have to bolt on. It definitely was more work than we thought it was going to be.
That is a two-person job for sure.
Most definitely a two-person job at least. I think if it's a one-person job, you're probably going to be like taking out your trans mount and lowering the trans a little bit to get access to everything. But with two people, you can finagle it. So we did that. It did have a little bit of adjustability, but I honestly just pushed the bracket as far center as I could, and he just cranked it down, and I think it's going to end up perfect. So all we got to do is bolt down this nice bracket with a boot on it. It does come with this nice foam rubber seal, so we literally just have to fit this in place. Where is it? There it is. Well, there it goes. Make sure I get it under all the harnesses and everything. Don't want to pinch any wires. So that's gonna go right there. Here's my 4 bolts. I'm just gonna pry this harness up, boys. Just so it's out of the way. There we go. Now she's gonna sink in there nice.
Feel cocky or bust.
And so there is a step on the shifter. I don't know if you're supposed to pull it over that step. I'm gonna leave it like that. I think it looks nice. I'm sure it'll seal up just fine. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my interior stuff back together, and the shifter will be done.
Did you just try to weld with my wrench?
Yes.
So guys, we got this all put together, and it seems the boot seems really tight when I go back into second. I mean, it's fully into gear and there's still some slack, but it just kind of looks funny. So I might mess with that off camera a little bit, try and dial that in. But what's kind of weird is this is neutral, but there might be I'm now realizing there might be a slight kick to the shifter. I might have put it in backwards. So I'll look at it later. I'm not too worried about it. I know S chassis are like that. Their shifters have a little kick at the end of them. So you can put them in backwards and it ends up being like in your dashboard or something like that. So yeah, so that's done. I think Bucci just put my new battery in.
Yep.
So we are going to turn the key on, make sure there's no fuel leaks. That's the big deal. If there's no fuel leaks, we're gonna check everywhere. If there's no fuel leaks, then we'll probably try to crank it up, maybe take it for a little test drive. So we will be back in a couple minutes. All right, ladies and germs, Bucci's on the key. We've got our fuel hat here. Everything is plugged in for now, and we are checking for leaks. So go ahead, Bucci, and hit it. Ooh, beautiful. All right, boys. That's good. Well then, go ahead and leave the key on, Booch. Then I will activate my starter motor. Ready, Booch?
Ready.
Clutch.
Clutch.
Oop. Interesting. That's something. Well, it was unplugged for a while, so I'm sure the tuning's way off. Are you updating the people of YouTube?
Yes.
All right, guys. So there is some sort of like resonator tube that goes here. I got that flipped around somehow. There's some sort of resonator tube that goes on the end of this fitting right here, and I can't find it. So we're just gonna cap this with some tape for now. Obviously, this is not a long-term solution. This is literally just right now so we can fire it up, test it out a little bit. But obviously, this is letting in air after the MAF, and the MAF measures the air coming into your engine. So if it doesn't know how much air is coming in, it's of course gonna run like crap. So we're gonna get this taped up, we're gonna give it another shot, and hopefully it'll run good. I am prepared. All right, try number 3. It's always the good one. You smell
That's just exhaust.
that? Okay, cool. Ready? Yep.
Look at how much nicer that's.
Oh wow, yeah, way nicer. No, all right. Back together and we will take this for a quick drive. We're about to go for a quick little test drive. We just want to make sure
Everything works.
that it drives. I can already tell the cluster doesn't work, so we're gonna have to figure that out, but we should be fine.
You guys are gonna come along.
Woo! Alright, Booch.
Here we go.
Don't die. Try.
Be safe. Bye. No. Bye, Dad. I'll miss you. I'll come back next summer. You guys will notice. Here's our lake. You can tell because you can't see it. That is our marker for you're gonna fly off the road. And Liam, how's the power steering feel?
Non-existent, remember?
Yeah, I know. I'm just, telling the people at home
Right.
that you drive a shit blocks.
Yep.
It drove out of its own. Whoa! She has a little bit of torque. Ooh, she a little torque.
We heard a funny noise from the rear end.
This may not be good, folks.
We may be rebuilding the rear end sooner than we thought.
does sound like our pinion bearing is not happy at us.
Something's not happy, that's for sure.
Something is not happy in the back end. Now, we did notice when we were test driving the car that it did also have a whine.
We assumed that was something else.
We assumed that it was the old trusty 5-speed transmission needing a rebuild. It looks like we were terribly wrong, and it is in fact a
Sounds like a rear end.
a rear end. Looks like we'll be pulling that back out and rebuilding it. We'll probably do all that off camera since we already have a video of it being done on camera, pulling out the rear diff. But other than that, how does it drive, Liam?
Honestly, not terrible.
Yeah, just
It there's no more clunk, so that's good.
this is
Doesn't
true.
smell like gas. That's a plus. Don't have that really weird electrical whirring that we did on the test drive. I'm pretty sure that was the power antenna that the guy left plugged in. Yeah, no, honestly, not bad. Could be worse.
See if we can get some tune-ins.
Oh, did
maybe?
you actually plug it in?
I did plug it in.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh!
Oh boy. Oh, there's something in the back.
How do
I'm
we
trying to turn the heater on for you, bud.
How do we tune this baby?
No clue.
Oh, there we go.
We got any heat?
We got a radio.
Well, we got one speaker.
We got a speaker.
All right, YouTube. So you saw the quick test drive. We just went up and down this park road real quick. Not bad. It definitely falls on its face. It definitely runs very, very rich. Too much fuel when you get in a higher RPM. But like right off throttle, it's definitely got really good cruisability. This seating position is too far forward and up for me, but we're gonna mess with that a little bit next time. But our main goals, shifter and fuel lines, we got both those done today. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Next time, we're gonna start digging into the timing belt. So I've got timing belt kits coming. A timing belt kit coming, sorry. I got a new Koyo rad that we're gonna install. Got some other goodies that you will just have to wait and see what I got. So please leave a like if you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing if you want to see more of this. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.
Past is gone, and now you're all I want. 'Cause I would give it all, give it all.